Hi, I'm Bob, and thanks for coming to my channel, where I'm striving to help people to become more resilient by becoming more prepared, prosperous, and present. Do you know how so many coaches and teachers are pretty tough and they push us hard, sometimes to the point of madness? And I don't think that they're just trying to be dicks, although there are a lot of those out there as well. But for the most part, I think you know as well as I that most coaches and teachers have our best interest at heart. And the best ones of those also pepper in some encouragement, some positive reinforcement, but not too much because they know that it's not the pats on the back that give us our growth. It's the pushing of our limits, our potential. So the military is known to be a pretty tough place. Not really what you'd think of to be a fun environment, right? Although some fun can be had. But it's where we train people for the extreme stresses of war. And all soldiers, airmen, sailors, Marines go through a boot camp, basic training when they first enlist. And that really does get most of them off to a good start. They, most people, when they come out, they feel the growth, they know they're a different person, and they feel stronger for it, both physically and mentally. Well, there's a saying, mamas, hope your son or daughter has the toughest drill sergeant there is. And that's not, of course, because anybody hopes ill will on any kids, but I think it's because deep in our hearts we know that it's those tough DIs, drill sergeants, who will help our kids to grow the most and be able to be equipped to handle the stress that they might have coming down the road. And if it's not in combat, it might be just regular stresses in life. And that's always helpful. So, back when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, there was this push towards enhancing kids' self esteem, right? I think we all know that self esteem is pretty important to good mental health. Well, I don't think a lot of thought was put into how that self esteem should be developed. So that's when we started to see the thanks for coming trophies and medals and just over the top compliments of kids, really just for stuff that they should have been doing in the first place. And again, I'm not discouraging positive reinforcement, but we tend to shower our kids with a little bit too much now. And parents have become overly protective as a result, right? Basically, bubble wrapping their kids from risk, from any chance of getting hurt. And I really think this is detrimental to our society. Um, the helicopter parents, the lawnmower parents, are even filling out college and job applications for our kids. And I just think that's so bad. We're not preparing people for real life. We need to let our kids make mistakes, let them have their own adventures, let them take risks, right? And don't do their work for them. Now, if you were a child of this environment, of course, I don't mean to insult you here, um, but tell me if I'm wrong, right? Do you feel differently? Are you grateful for your mother and father just, carrying you through all these processes? Or is there part of you that wishes that, yeah, I kind of wish I was left on my own a little bit more? Or maybe I was allowed to go explore in the woods or, just be out of their range every now and then. I'd love to hear your childhood stories, positive or negative, on this topic. And if you are one of those kids, maybe now an adult, now is not too late to change, right? But it just requires doing some things where you're required to stretch your boundaries, spread your wings, experience some life, some potential risk, right? Not saying you necessarily have to risk your life, but doing some things that are out of your comfort zone can help a lot. Again, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you.